Denise, Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, Denise, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Happy Friday. It's Denise. It is August 12th, and we are here to chat both Smackdown and Rampage here today. Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, just a heads up to everybody. If you haven't already, yesterday I was at the WrestleMania 39 launch party at SoFi Stadium. It was a pretty cool experience. I got to conduct several interviews there. Afterwards, they held a little event inside the field. The fans got to go on the field. It was a really cool thing. If you guys haven't checked out the interviews that I did, head on over to youtube.com/Denise Salcedo and check those out because I spoke to so many people. I spoke to Seth Rollins. I spoke to Raquel Rodriguez. I spoke to Nikki Ash. I spoke to a lot of people, so make sure you guys go ahead and check those out. But today we are going to be talking about SmackDown and Rampage. And I got to tell you, today's back-to-back episodes of SmackDown and Rampage kind of felt like they switched places, man, because for weeks I've been sitting here going, oh my God, SmackDown needs so much help. And the only thing at a certain point that was getting me by was a lot of the stuff that was going on Rampage. Today, I kind of felt like I'm going to talk more about SmackDown today because there's just so much more to discuss. And I did kind of feel that today's episode of Rampage felt like a very missable episode of Rampage. Like if I or you would have skipped it, it kind of would have been no big deal, which is kind of unfortunate though, because I'm watching Rampage and I do want to see, a good show. And I thought today's show definitely was not one that I'm going to be remembering. So that kind of sucked, but we will go ahead and talk about that today. We're actually going to kick things off with Rampage just because there's only a finite amount of things to actually discuss on that show. But before we do get into everything, just a heads up, this is a very interactive show. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. How do you feel? Especially if you're somebody that watches both shows religiously back to back each and every single week, or if you're somebody that just tunes in for SmackDown or just tunes into Rampage, because everybody has different, viewing patterns of what they actually watch. So I am curious to hear what you guys think about that. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about SmackDown. But just a heads up, everyone, too. Whoa, I dropped my earphones and then that creeped me out. Okay, so also, this is a very interactive show. At any point, feel free to send in your thoughts, feel free to send in your comments, and if you do want to make sure your question, comment, or statement gets read on the stream, 100% guaranteed, you can go ahead and send in a super chat. A super chat not only gets your comments read on here, but they also help me out a whole lot. And we actually got our first super chat of the day, and that is from Darth Steven C777, who says, everyone go and watch Denise's pre-WrestleMania interviews. Seriously, guys, please do. That channel is funded entirely by myself, and it costs money to pay a makeup artist, to pay a hairstylist, to pay a cameraman and people to help me out with stuff. And the only way I make my money back is the money that I make on YouTube. So check those out. Every single view matters. Every single view counts. So thank you very much to Darth Steven for sending that in here today. All right. So let's go ahead and actually, let me read this comment too, because some people are pointing out some of the interviews that I did. Tony brings up that he liked the interview with Roxanne Perez and also Valerie Loretta. What's funny about that was I was the only media member that ended up interviewing Roxanne and Valerie because everybody had left already to go out into the field and do stuff. And I stuck around because I was waiting for Dominic Mysterio. He was the only person that was left that I hadn't interviewed yet. And so I was waiting for him, which is why that interview was so short, because his publicist only gave me 2 questions. I snuck in an extra one. So I got 3 questions, but he was in a rush and he was leaving already. So I was the last media member there. And then one of the publicists comes in, is like, hey, do you want to talk to Valerie? And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, oh, do you want to talk to Roxanne? And I'm like, where are they? And so they popped up out of nowhere, and I was one of the few people, the only person that was there and got to actually interview both girls. So I was very, very stoked about that too. I was also one of the few media members. I think Seth Rollins only did 3 interviews. He did a scrum interview, and basically what that is Seth Rollins stands in one place, and then everybody puts their like cameras and their microphones in his face, and then a couple people get like a couple questions. I was the only person that did a video one-on-one with Seth Rollins, so that was really freaking cool. So I was very, very happy about that, guys. At these media events, you have to have your head on a swivel, and you have to be ready, because you're like, bam, that person just walked in the room. I need to get an interview with this person. The only persons that I didn't get to interview were Zelina. I didn't get to interview her because they took her a different route. And then by the time that, stuff happens, I didn't get to interview. So I was really bummed out about that, because I did want to talk to her. I didn't get to talk to Angel or Humberto. And who else didn't I get to talk to? There's somebody else that I missed, because things get chaotic in there. Touch of Gray sends in a super chat saying, great to have you back on Fridays, and congrats. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be back on Fridays. I love doing this show. So thank you so much to Touch of Gray. Dan V900 sends in a super chat saying, I know it made it hard due to Smackdown and Rampage tonight, but Emergence is worth watching start to finish. Shelly Alexander was awesome. So let me tell you, Dan, immediately after this podcast, I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm going to watch Emergence, because I'm going to be talking about that show tomorrow on Fightful. And I will tell you that I've already heard about several matches being pretty damn good, with the Shelly Alexander match being one of them. So I'm really looking forward to the show. I'm definitely going to be watching it, and I'll probably be tweeting super late about it tonight. So you'll be seeing random tweets once I actually start watching the show, and then I'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. I got to tell you though, one more thing, and then we'll get into talking about the actual shows. I'm really kind of like, I get why Impact Wrestling is doing their pay-per-views now on Fridays, but I freaking hate it. I hate it selfishly, because it really messes up my schedule. I was doing so good getting to watch all of the Impact pay-per-views, because they were on the weekends, and they normally wouldn't like run against WWE or AEW. And now they're running on Fridays, and I'm like, shit, dude, I got a show to do. I can't just stop doing the show. That's not going to happen. So, I mean, like, it does suck now that I have to watch the shows afterwards and then talk about the show till the following day. So Impact Wrestling messed up my schedule, but that's just selfish reasons. I'm also curious to see how many people, what their like viewership is now, and how many people, because I feel like it's harder for them to get, this is just me assuming, but I feel like it's harder to get viewers to tune in on a Friday night to watch the pay-per-views, because Friday nights is like either people go out, or, if some people are going to watch SmackDown, some people are going to watch Rampage, and some people just don't want to watch wrestling Friday nights. Everybody's different. So I'm very curious how that's going to impact. Thank you so much to Dan V900 for sending in that super chat as well. But now let's go ahead and get into AEW Rampage here today, because I feel like since there's only a couple of things to actually discuss, and then we'll go ahead and get into SmackDown, that's going to be a little bit more of our lengthy portion of today's show. So let's kick things off with one of the things I really enjoyed from Rampage here today, and that was the confrontation between Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia. So the reason that this was pretty good, and I'll tell you why. Bryan Danielson is just freaking good at everything. We already know this, okay? In-ring wise, that's not even an argument. That's not even a debate. Promo-wise, same thing. But I think because we haven't been able to see Bryan Danielson each and every single week, it's like a reminder whenever we do, with him recently, coming back, it's a reminder of how good he is on the microphone, that sort of thing. So we all know that next week at House of the Dragon, we're going to be getting the 2 out of 3 falls between Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia. So Bryan Danielson comes out and he basically starts saying how he's never going to leave the wrestling ring willingly. And he says, I know Daniel Garcia says he's going to end my career, but that's definitely not going to happen. So Daniel Garcia comes out, and this is the interesting thing about Daniel. I remember when we first started seeing Daniel on AEW, one of the things that I remember like discussing was how he kind of didn't really show like a lot of personality at one point. Like at one point, I remember one of the biggest critiques that I had was like, dude, show some more personality, right? And I almost feel like Daniel Garcia probably saw that criticism, in different places, because he has definitely like really brought a lot more personality like the last couple of weeks to the things that he has been doing. Like we've literally seen him go from like a guy that was like good, right? Like a guy that's good, but that was kind of it. But then afterwards, now we're seeing him, really add a lot more of his personality. He's a lot more fired up. And I gotta tell you, I really liked his energy today when he came out, and the promo that he cut on Bryan Danielson was really good. And Bryan Danielson, I think like just him, it's almost like Daniel Garcia fed off of the energy of like, hey, I'm in there with Bryan Danielson. I gotta like level up my game, and you could really tell that that happened there. So I love this between. Daniel Garcia comes out and he tells Bryan, hey, you're my hero, but you're coming up with excuses now, and I'm going to end your career. And then he tells them that after he defeats Bryan Danielson and after he ends his career, that Bryan is going to have to call him the greatest technical sports entertainer, on top of calling him the Dragon Slayer. And I love where they went with this afterwards, because obviously Daniel being part of the Jericho Appreciation Society, the sports entertainer thing, it's their thing, right? It's their thing. But Bryan Danielson's basically like, you know what really pisses me off? That sports entertainment bullshit. He tells him that shit pisses him off. And then he gets into the head. He gets into the mind of Daniel Garcia, and he tells them, he tells them, you were one of the guys that I first named to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club. You were one of the guys that I first named because I saw you wrestling a 60-minute match and showing skills that I hadn't seen in a young talent in a very long time. And I thought, ooh, that's good. And then he took it one step further by then telling Daniel, do you want to be known as the best technical sports entertainer in the world, or the best technical wrestler in the world? And he kind of said, I'll leave it up to you. Gun under his skin, walked off. I loved this opening segment. I thought it was definitely, I'm going to say probably the best thing that we saw the entire night today on Rampage. So I'm really excited for Daniel Garcia. I think he's really coming about his own. So that's great to see. And, always just happy to see Bryan Danielson, period. So this was definitely one of the hits for Rampage here tonight. We got a super chat here from my man, Reggie Simmons, one of my friends. Reggie says, just donating to the Salcedo All Out Concessions Concessions Fund, excuse me. Congrats, and may you live happily ever after. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it very, very much. And I am going to All Out. I actually got my media credential. Was it yesterday or today? I think I got it today. Yeah, I got my media credential today. I officially booked my my flight. My hotel has been booked. I've been credentialed, and I bought a new microphone today too. I'm really excited about it. Although I don't know if I'm going to use it at All Out, because I have to use a different type of microphone for the media scrums, but I bought a new handheld mic, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about it. That's coming pretty soon, because my old microphone was getting a little fugly. Like, this is like, look at this. Look at this, guys. I've had this for years. This is the microphone that I've had for like 5 years, okay? So I finally was able to buy a new microphone, so that's coming soon. Thank you so much to Reggie Simmons for the love. We got another super chat here from Reductive92, who says, it looked like Daniel was holding back tears. IDK, maybe it was just me. I loved your Roxanne interview, and congrats on the wedding, girl. Thank you so much. I didn't notice that Daniel Garcia was holding back any tears. I didn't personally catch that, but maybe that was, but I guess that's good. Why would he be holding? Like, why would he be holding back tears? That's the part I don't get. Maybe do you think afterwards when Danielson got in his face and kind of like made him, do you want to be the best technical wrestler in the world or the best technical sports entertainer in the world? I have to go back and see if I noticed that, but I didn't notice that. Also, thank you so much for loving the Roxanne interview. I love that one too, because she was so honest. I asked her a question and she ran with it, guys. And those are my favorite interviews, the ones where I don't have to pull teeth. And let me explain. When I've done interviews with just about everybody, like actors, musicians, obviously wrestlers, fighters, boxers, whatever. And there's sometimes where you interview somebody and you ask them a question and they give you like a really a question that an answer that you can't really bounce off of. And Roxanne was polar opposite of that. Like, as I was talking to her, I was like, damn, I really wish we had like 30 minutes because we can obviously talk a whole lot more. So she was really great with that. So good for her. And thank you so much for the super chat as well. All right. And apparently, yeah, here we go. This is from Sam Fines, who says his lip was quivering. Just an intense scene to be part. I didn't notice that. I need to pay more attention to the lips. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on from here. This is from Leighton, who says, Brian was giving off, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed vibes on him. You know how that gets to people. Hey, man, I most definitely do not want to make Bryan Danielson disappointed. But anyways, it was good stuff, though. I like that. Really intense segment. All right, moving on from this. This was another match that, this part of the show, this match for the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championships, I wasn't like too looking forward to it. Like, it was just a match. I really, I wasn't like over the moon or anything about it, but I gotta tell you, I liked it so much more than I was expecting. And I thought this was another highlight of today's AEW Rampage. I was actually a fan of this for multiple reasons, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But I guess I'll start off by saying, and I think I've said this before on other shows, but I really like Sky Blue. Sky Blue, I feel like I've mentioned this before, but she's just a very likable person. And I don't know what it is. Like, I'm rooting for her. I'm really rooting for her. And she's so new. Like, she's obviously new. She's getting her footing and all of that. She's still young and all of that good stuff. But I seriously, I see her and I'm like, give it a couple of years, she's going to be somebody. Like, if I had to put a bet on somebody especially for the women, of someone that I thought was going to be a big star, Sky Blue is definitely one of those people. So I'm rooting for her. I was very excited to see her put in this position because just from like the inklings of how all of this came about, I don't think that Sky Blue was supposed to be the person in this spot, but there she is, and it worked out for her. Her and Dante Martin actually made for a pretty good duo, which was somewhat unexpected. At least I didn't really expect it. Both young kids. Obviously, Dante Martin's a little bit more of the high flyer and whatnot, but I did like him teaming up with Sky Blue. I thought they made a pretty decent pairing, but at the top of this match, we had a lot of interactions between Sky and Ty Mello. And what I really liked about this was just like we got to see enough of Sky Blue where it was like, this is why she's was put in this spot here. Like, even though it didn't seem like this was the moment that was like, she didn't look like if you think about the long term of all of this, it didn't seem like Sky Blue was the person to be put in this spot, right? But now she is. For whatever changed, for whatever reason that changed, she's in there now. And so they kind of showed us a lot from Sky Blue where you're like, if maybe you didn't get the point of why she was there, I think she gave us a couple of things that you kind of started to maybe give a second look and be like, you know what, the Sky Blue girl, let me pay attention to her. Right off the bat, she hits Ty Mello with a crossbody off the top rope, and then she like slaps her in the face, and then Ty returns the favor and slaps her in the face. So I really liked this intense moment between both the ladies there. Afterwards, Sky got her with a couple of knee strikes. Those looked pretty good. And then I want to talk about that dive that Dante did because it was kind of a little bit trippy, and I'm going to tell you why. And maybe I just like paid too much attention to it, but it was really funny because so he does this tope, right? And he's already halfway. He already has a certain amount of momentum. He's going at a certain speed. And then somehow right before he hits his target, he speeds up a little bit. It was trippy. I really liked it. So it kind of looked really cool. It stood out to me is what I'm trying to get at here. After this, we saw Ty hit Dante with a spinning a DDT that looks pretty great. And then Ty ends up hitting the Ty KO on Sky Blue. and she gets the win for her team, so they retain. So I liked this. I thought it was a fun little matchup to just get familiar with both Sky. Well, mainly with Sky, because we've already been familiar with Dante Martin, and a good little win for Sami and Ty. So good stuff around, perfectly fine stuff. All right, and let's go ahead and see what people are saying about this. This is from Lenny, who says, Sky Blue is a long-term project with that AEW women's division. The talent is there, but there's a lot of work to be done. And I think she will be a top babyface within the next few years. Yeah, I can see it, honestly. As long as, they keep giving, as long as they give the proper resources, I would say, that the women would need to get to, like, you mentioned it being like a project, right, for the AEW women's division. If Sky Blue just goes out there and gets more time, and I know that it's so hard, especially with so much of the, a stacked roster, but based on what we saw on Rampage today, like, Rampage could be that show for a lot of people that don't really get time, that are kind of, waiting, like, hey, we don't get much time on Dynamite. Maybe we can do more on Rampage. And I feel like a lot of the women, like, if they're not going to give them as much time on Dynamite, like, give them a little bit more time on Rampage so that we can, get the ball rolling and really just get them, doing more and getting more comfortable and going out there in the ring and whatnot. And obviously, she's doing dark, and a lot of them are doing dark and dark elevation, but it's still a little bit different, obviously, to be on Rampage, and definitely a lot different to be on Dynamite. So there you go with that. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from here. Nika Latino says, Denise, I gotta know, did you take a photo with Fluffy? Also, I loved your interviews with Roxy and Valerie, Latina Girl Power. So I gotta tell you, man, guys, I was so bummed out that I didn't get an interview with Fluffy. He didn't do interviews at all with, like, the people in the media room. I don't know if he did interviews with, like, Ryan or something, but he didn't do interviews with us. And I was so bummed out because I was so ready to talk to him. I was at his show that he did at the Dodger Stadium, and that's going to be coming out on Netflix, I think October 14th or something, the comedy special. And I wanted to talk to him about it. I was so stoked, but it didn't happen. He just did photos. That was all he did. He did photos, and then that was kind of the it there. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's get into this next one here. I'm interested to see, what do you guys think about Parker Boudreaux coming in and, kind of doing stuff with AEW? I'm curious because personally, I feel like, let me see, how do I put this? I feel like there's so much talent already on AEW that I really want to see do more, that we're not seeing do more. I want to see certain people and people that I am a bigger fan of. And I think it's a really cool opportunity for Parker, obviously, but I feel like it's too much. Where I want still, like, there's still so much more to be had with a lot of the people that are already part of the roster, where it's not one of those, I wouldn't say that he's one of those names where I'm like clamoring, like, oh my God, thank God he's here, and, let's get this going, So personally, I kind of was a little bit disinterested in this. And obviously, we're going to talk about Sunny Kiss a lot more towards the end of the show, because that Sunny's going to play a part in all of that. But we did get Parker and Sunny in this match, and obviously the former Harland. And it's so weird because it always trips me out, man, to see either someone go from WWE to AEW and just know what they were doing beforehand, and then coming in and talking about this entirely new world that they're in. Because Harland, for those of you who do not watch NXT 2.0 or don't know what he was doing on NXT 2.0, that's all right. Give you a quick rundown. Harland was just basically the creepy bald guy. He was just a creepy bald guy who stood behind Joe Gacy as Joe Gacy spieled off all of this random stuff. And Harland was just a guy that was always like this. That's it. That's what we saw Harland. And he had a couple of matches here and there. He threw Brian Kendrick off the stairs. The last time we saw him, he had locked Rick Steiner in a shark cage. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what we were seeing with Harland. And so it just, for me, I really didn't care. I'll be honest. This just wasn't really for me. You can't force me to have interest in certain things. And I think this one, I can't pretend that I was like over the moon about it, really. You got to get me interested is what I'm saying. You got to get me. You got to suck me in, man. Suck me in or else we ain't gonna click there. Anyways, he chokeslammed Sunny. Very quick win. We'll talk about them more later because they play into this show. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, man. I'm getting a lot of different thoughts here. This is from Pomi. Let's see what Pomi is saying. It says, Parker joining AEW gives me the TNA hires every former WWE guy's vibes. Don't hate the guy, but don't really have any strong feeling about him. Yeah, see, like, that's the thing. Like, I'm happy that, obviously that people are getting work. That's freaking awesome, right? And it's so cool that we have a place that, aside from WWE, people can legitimately go and make an honest living. And that's great. But I think at this point, it's like the rosters, it's overflowing. And you go back and you look at some of the people that haven't really been seen much. And you want to have, I feel, you also want to put a little bit more bigger names on Rampage because it's starting to feel like you could read the results for Rampage and maybe watch the highlights. And that's not something that I think they want to do with Rampage. It's obviously something not you would want to do because you want to get ratings and all of that. But it does kind of feel like, okay, I don't really have to watch Rampage to know what's going on and keep up weekly with AEW, especially for the people that maybe only watch Dynamite or whatever the case may be for whatever person. So that's the one thing that I do want to feel. I want to feel like there should be more of a reason for me to tune into Rampage, because if I tune into let's say I don't tune into Rampage, maybe I missed something that went along with one of the bigger angles on Dynamite. So I do kind of want to see a little bit more of that. Obviously, we did get that segment with Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson, which was great, but I would like to have maybe just a little bit more of that. And all right, so let's go ahead and see what people are saying about this. And oh no. Matt Hensley. I'm dying at this comment. All right, that's for the video. That's for the video people only. I won't read the comment on the air, but for the video people, it's pretty funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. Let's see what we got. After this, we got the Gun Club versus Danhausen and Eric Redbeard, and they're going as Beardhausen. Man, this is another one for me, guys. I was not a fan of this. This was a nothing match. It sucks because I love Danhausen. I love Eric Redbeard as well. So that's great and all. But this was a nothing match, really. The Gun Club gets the win. They hit the Famouser, get the win. Afterwards, we have a whole thing where Billy Gunn is telling his kids that he wants them to toughen up. And he's going to give them another match next week. Whoopee. Oh, I don't think this is for me, guys. I haven't been feeling I haven't been feeling the Gun Club. You guys know this for weeks now. The stuff that they were doing with the Acclaimed, I wasn't even that big of a fan of that. And even then, I cared more then than I do now. So I'm sorry to the Gun Club stands, but this one is not for me. I am not the demo. That's what I'm going to say now for everything. For everything that I don't like, blame it on the demo. I'm not the demo. Oh, man. I'm trying to see what people are saying about this. YT says, I didn't like that Beardhausen lost to the Ass Boys. Beanie Boy 316 says, why was Billy mad when they won? He was pissed. And I started to think the same thing. He didn't like the way that they won the match. And I thought, did I miss something? Legitimately, I think I missed what he was mad about. Maybe I'm not paying good enough attention. Please inform me because I had the same question. Now, keep in mind, I'm tweeting, I'm watching, I'm doing about a zillion things at once. But I got to tell you, though, I had the exact same question. And I thought, all right, clearly I missed something, whatever. Man, but I just didn't care enough. I didn't care enough. YT says, I think it was their celebration. Oh, man, we don't even know. We don't even know. Oh my God. That's not a good thing. Oh man. Damn it. All right. Sorry, guys. Threw me off. I was thinking, I was really putting a lot of thought into this. I don't know why. But we're going to get another match next week, and we'll see what happens then. Okay, Ray Mungus says, I think he was mad because they barely won and got worked by Redbeard for most of the match. All right. Cool. That's fine. Whatever. There's just nothing much there. Nothing much to grab a hold to. All right, let's talk about Hook, because this was an interesting segment. So Hook comes out. He's the new FTW champion. Hook is a fan favorite. We love Hook here. We're all hookers. We love Hook. We're hooked. That's all I've got. Anyways, so he comes out. He's FTW champion. Just recently defeated Ricky Starks. Great. That was awesome. He's about to get interviewed by Tony Schiavone, but after like the second question, he gets interrupted by Zach Clayton. And let me tell you, I was very, very confused. Now, for those of you who watch my show, you know that I do not watch AEW Dark or Dark Elevation because I legitimately just don't have the time. Now, when he came out, I thought, oh shit, who is this? I felt really, really dumb. And I thought, man, I don't know who this guy is. Shit. And then he started saying like, oh, I'm a reality star. And I'm like, okay. And then I think commentary or somebody, I think it might have been commentary or I might have seen something on Twitter. I don't even know. And oh no, it was what it was. They said his name. I Googled him and I felt so dumb because I thought, oh, this is just a guy that's, you know, a celebrity and he's going to come in and he's going to do something with AEW. Well, turns out he's been on Dark and Dark Elevation wrestling matches here and there since 2020. And I didn't know this guy. And I was stunned. I was so stunned because I'd never heard about him before. And it's not a shot or anything. I just didn't know who he was. And I was stunned. I was so shocked to find out that the last 2 years, he's been on Dark and Dark Elevation having matches. I went on his Pro-Fight DB account and I was like, holy shit, this goes back to 2020. I think it was like 2 matches in 2020, a couple more in 2021, and a couple more in 2022, whatever. I didn't count or anything. And then I thought, man, I must be so out of the loop. I need to watch Dark. I need to watch Dark Elevation. So then I went on the Twitter account, on AEW's Twitter account, and I thought, okay, people here are going to inform me. Maybe I'll find out a little bit more. So I clicked on it. I clicked on the comment sections to see what people were saying. And everybody had who is this? Who? So it turns out that I wasn't the only person that had no idea who this was. So I had to go and read a couple of articles on Zach Clayton, read his Pro-Fight DB page, and now I'm a little bit more informed. Reality star, apparently Jersey Shore. I don't even know because I don't watch reality TV. So I was a mess during this. I was a mess trying to figure out and connect the dots here and there. But anyways, he comes out. He's going to have a match against Hook next week. So I think here, the key thing that should have been done here is for them to tell us who is Zach Clayton? Because I'm sure there's people on here that are like, well, Denise is so stupid. And there's people on Twitter are so stupid because we know exactly who this person is. But not everybody is going to know if you're not watching Dark and Dark Elevation. You're not going to know, right? Like, I didn't know. So there's going to be people that like don't know. So I would like it if they gave us a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit more information because I was very lost and confused. But I will say this, Zach Clayton, based on what I saw here tonight, he has the personality that I know a lot of people aren't going to like the douchey type of personality, right? But I kind of like it. It kind of works. So I didn't mind him on the mic. He brought a lot of energy, so that was good. And that's all I've got to say so far. Okay, someone says that it was Jay Wells' man. I read that somewhere. I think I read it in an article or on his Wikipedia or something. So I did read that he was Jay Wells' man. Now, here's the thing. I never watched Jersey Shore. I have no idea. I know like Jay Well and Snooki because everybody knows them. They were like, if you were following pop culture during the height of Jersey Shore, you know who like the key people are, even if you didn't watch the show. It's like the Kardashians. You know the Kardashians, even if you don't watch the show. All right, so here we go. Let's see what people are saying about this here. Turns out a lot of people here, from the sounds of it, didn't know either. A lot of people did not know who this person was. Crazy J says this introduction was very much like introducing a character from Room. And let's see what else we got. Let's get some more comments here. And YT says the majority of his matches have been in New Jersey. He's Snooki's husband. So is he JWoww's husband or is he Snooki's husband? I don't know. He's somebody's husband. I have no idea. Oh, man. Oh, that sucks. All right, let's see what we got here. Crazy J says when Zach Cleaning showed up, I was chanting in my living room, who the F are you? So a lot of people had the, who the hell is this guy? Which, no fault of his own, right? We just need to know. We need to be told, for those of us that were not informed. All righty. Enough about this. Let's go ahead and move on to the main event. The main event with Ari Daivari and Orange Cassidy. Fun little main event, but I don't think that it was Rampage. I was going to say Rampage main event quality. I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. It could have been a match on Rampage, but I don't think this was a main event match. This dragged a little bit. I did like Orange Cassidy obviously doing his diving DDT, getting a near fall. Thumbs up. Parker gets involved. OC takes him out with a tope. He hits the orange punch, gets the win. After this, though, the most noteworthy thing from this is that Sonny Kiss turned heel and turned on Orange Cassidy, which then allowed Parker to essentially beat up Orange Cassidy. So that was the most wow moment of the entire thing. Oh, man. I feel bad, but I'm trying to see what else we're saying. What else can I say about this? Toto Nonstop Wilson says Denise wants to know, and I'm just like, whatever. It depends, right? I need to know. Like, I need to know who these people are, right? Because it's part of my job. I shouldn't be out here being like, who's this person? Holy shit, who's this person? So every time, like, not every time, but whenever there's a situation like this, I got to be like, who the hell is this person? So at least I'm glad that I wasn't the only one, that there was a lot of people who legitimately didn't know who Zach was. But anyways, that was Rampage, guys. So it didn't, I wish the show was just a little bit better, but whatever, it was fine. It's not like we haven't gotten any other good Rampages. We've gotten plenty of good Rampages. But now let's go ahead and also I do want to point this out from Isaac Looper, who says Sonny Kiss got a TV match. Very happy for Sonny Kiss because I really like Sonny Kiss as well. I think Sonny Kiss is one of those people that doesn't get as much love as they probably should, because all the matches that I've gotten to see of Sonny Kiss have been pretty good. Pretty good. Thumbs up. So I was happy for Sonny to get a spot on TV. All right, moving on from this, let's go ahead and jump into SmackDown. But before I do, just a friendly reminder, guys, for those of you who are here and you're like, when the hell does Denise go live? I go live on Tuesdays to chat NXT 2.0. I go live on Wednesdays to chat AEW Dynamite. It's my favorite show of the week, so make sure you guys come in. Fridays is my most relaxed day. I feel like Fridays, you guys get to find out who the real Denise is. I'm just like, I don't even give a damn. I'm just saying what I need to say. So Fridays, I'm like done. I'm like, this is it. Here's what you get. So Fridays are usually pretty fun, pretty chill. So make sure you guys come in on Fridays. But we got a super chat here from Eric Louise. Thank you so much to Eric, who says Sonny Kiss the Concrete is now my favorite wrestler, kicking Orange Cassidy in the huevos. Sorry. I shouldn't have laughed that hard at getting kicked in the huevos, but it's pretty damn funny. Saying huevos, and we're not talking about huevos, the huevos, but the other huevos. Wow, I focused too much on this. Eric Louise, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And yeah, shout out to Sonny Kiss, man. Deserves a little bit more love. Hagen sends in a super chat also saying that Concrete Jezebel. Good comment there. Good comment. All right, now let's go ahead and get into SmackDown, guys. All right, so there's going to be some things we focus on a little bit more than others and things that we talk about a little less. We got the women's tag team tournament, and round one match. This was Raquel and Aaliyah versus Shotzi and Xia Li. I gotta tell you, I'm already off on my predictions here, guys, because I actually thought that we were going to be seeing Shotzi and Xia Li win this match. I think since I looked at this and I thought, oh, well, Raquel and Aaliyah, like obviously Raquel is more of the dominant person. She's very, very dominant. She's a powerhouse. But Aaliyah is, polar opposite of what Raquel is. So I thought, I don't really see them going far in the tournament. And I saw Shotzi and Xia Li a little bit more on maybe a little bit more on the same playing field. So I actually thought that we were going to be seeing Shotzi and Xia Li defeat Raquel and Aaliyah. I was completely wrong, and it ended up being Raquel winning for her team. So obviously Raquel's going to go into this and basically be leading her team here and maybe making it on to the finals there. And I didn't get the bracket here. 1 second. I'm going to have to get this bracket from, oh shit. Might take me a little longer than I thought. I need to get the bracket from WWE so I can see who up there it is. All right, cool. So they are going to go on to face either Nikita and Zoe or Natalya and Sonya. So now I'm looking at this tournament here, and I feel like things are, for the most part, I still feel like it's pretty straightforward on who we actually think is going to be winning this tournament here. But let me go ahead and pull up this graphic. Sorry, guys. I was not prepared. All right, here we go. So we got obviously Io Sky and Dakota. I'm really hoping that we get Io Sky and Dakota against Alexa and Asuka. And I gotta agree with the people that said that they really wish that Alexa and Asuka were on the opposite side of the bracket, because besides Io and Dakota, I feel like they're the second most dominant team. So I would have really liked to see that as the finals. But now looking at this, I have a feeling that the finals are, I have a feeling that they're going to push Nikita and Zoe to the finals. Or maybe, I don't know. Shit, I'm looking at this now and I can't decide who is going to be the opposite of Io and Dakota on the right side of the bracket. Because I feel like, obviously Natalya, she has every single, she's Natalya. Like, she has the respect. She's great in the ring and all of that. And Sonya is great too. But I did like that package that they did for Nikita and Zoe. And something tells me that they want to put them over a little bit more. But at the end of the day, they are your NXT, talent. So you're going to want to put over your main roster talent over a lot more. So if they do surprise us, if they want to surprise us, they will go with Nikita and Zoe. But if it's gonna be pretty straightforward, then obviously Natty and Sonya to continue on the right side of the bracket. And if it is Natalya and Sonya, then I could possibly see them going the direction where it's Raquel and Aaliyah in the finals, so that you can have that moment between Dakota and Raquel, because as we all know, they're former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So to have Io Sky and Dakota against Raquel and Aaliyah in the finals, they can pretty much push that story of Dakota and Raquel. So we will see, but that's where we're at right now with that bracket here. We got a super chat here from Cheyenne Haas. Thank you so much to Cheyenne, who says Raquel landed that twisting elbow on Shotzi's head. Yikes. Yeah, it looked a little bit brutal, but it seems like she's all right for the most part. But yeah, it was something something noticeable for sure. Thank you so much to Cheyenne for also sending in this super chat. And let me make sure that I didn't miss anything from you guys. No, I'm pretty good. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and move on from here. And I can't bring this up, guys. Pomi Wrestling says, fun fact, the women's tag team tournament is already almost as long as the entirety of the Queen's Crown tournament from last year. I cannot bring this up because the amount of heat that I got, guys, you might as well have put me in an oven, because the amount of heat that I got for posting those times for the Queen's Crown tournament, let me tell you guys, it was a lot. Now, I don't know how many of you guys here have gotten heat on Twitter. This was a lot. This was intense. And to this day, people still hate me because I posted the times to the Queen's Crown tournament. So this is a sore subject. Thank you to Pomi Wrestling for sending this in. Pomi Wrestling said it, not me. All right, moving on from this here. And let's go ahead and continue on from this. So congratulations to Raquel and Aaliyah as they continue on. Also, while I was talking about this, I do have an interview with Raquel Rodriguez over on my YouTube channel. Check it out. It's pretty awesome. She has great energy. We talk about tacos. We talk about hot Cheetos. We talk about her run on the main roster. We talk about her bestie, Dakota Kai, returning to WWE. It's a lot of fun, so make sure you guys check that one out. It's a good time. All right, moving on from this, we got a promo from Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross returned last week on SmackDown, and he's one of the people that has been brought back by Triple H. And so you got Karrion Kross, you got Dakota Kai, and we'll talk about the other people that returned here later on tonight. But Karrion Kross is one of them. Now, good for him. I'm excited to see what here's the thing about Karrion Kross. Like, Kross was one of the guys that I remember when Keith Lee won both titles, when he won the NXT North American Championship and the NXT World title, when he was holding up both of those championships. I will never forget that like shot at the end where you have Karrion Kross was like staring on, and they basically did this like big tease for that, right? And then we went into the program with Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe. Like, on the NXT side of things for Karrion Kross, things were going pretty damn well, okay? They were going pretty good. Things were looking really positive for Karrion. And then the main roster stuff happened. And the main roster stuff was just like so bad, having them lose on there as NXT champion, guys, as NXT champion. I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that that happened, but whatever, to each their own. But I just remember during that time seeing that, I just thought, God, no, why? And from there on, it's almost like you killed the man. You couldn't bring him back to life, and then you stripped him of his identity with not having Scarlett there, and then they gave him that whole gimmick with the mask and the suspenders, and oh my God, it was so bad. So they just did a lot to really hurt Kross on the main roster, right? And so, he's part of the releases, he's gone, and now he's back. He's back, and this is really finally the moment where, if Triple H really sees something in Kross, this is the time to prove it. This is the time to show it, because this is it. This is the moment. Like, you can finally treat him the way he probably would have liked for him to be treated in the first place on the main roster. So I really hope things work out so much better for Kross. Already they've been going a lot better. He's already added so much to this, because Roman Reigns, our double champ, he's gone, he's out. He's not, working as many dates anymore. So you have Drew McIntyre who's there, and, they're heading into their match at Clash at the Castle, and, Roman's not there. So it's like, who do you have that can help, oomph up the main title picture? You don't got anybody there, so you need your top guys. And so I like how quickly Kross basically, when he came back to WWE, basically doing the whole TikTok thing to Roman Reigns, and then during this promo, he's talking about being disregarded like a broken toy. He's talking about how they're the timeline and this and that. And during this entire time, he's like watching Drew McIntyre. And so Drew McIntyre, after this promo, Drew McIntyre has his own promo, and he starts talking about how Kross jumped him from behind. And then Scarlett comes out, and she has this whole big presentation, and she was such a big factor to what Kross was. One of the biggest criticisms was that without Scarlett, a lot of his personality was stripped away. So Scarlett brings so much to the presentation of Kross. And anyway, so she comes out and they do the black and white thing. It looks pretty damn cool. She looks pretty awesome. So she gets out there, and I'm thinking, is she going to do something to Drew McIntyre? Where is she going to go with this? What's going to go on? She ends up just being a distraction so that the Usos could come from behind and attack Drew McIntyre. Later on in the show, Drew McIntyre does get his revenge on the Usos, but we'll talk about that more later on, because he does actually might as well talk about it now. He ends up having a match with the Usos. It starts off with just Drew and the Usos, but then afterwards, Madcap Moss ends up joining him there, and Drew ends up winning that match for his team with the Claymore. So I will say this. I really, really like what they're doing, how they're utilizing Kross right now, and I'm liking this thing with him and Drew McIntyre. It feels good, and it feels like it's giving me a reason to want to tune in and see what's going on SmackDown, because for a very, very long time, everything was just about Roman. And I love Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is fucking awesome, and he's doing some of the best work ever in his career, but it was getting a little bit old, a little bit repetitive. And then with the whole Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns things, damn, we've been there, done that. So it does feel a lot more refreshing to have Karrion Kross incorporated into the story and, be doing stuff with Roman and with Drew McIntyre. So I love this. Finally, an opportunity to give Kross a real legitimate shot. So now this is it. If he fails, then it's on you now, We'll see. All right, moving on from this here. Let's see what people are saying in regards to this. What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Darth Steven sends in a super chat saying, with WWE giving the women more love, do you think they will force AEW to add more women's matches on Dynamite? One women's match a week is not enough. That has been a very sore topic, and it's a topic that's being brought up constantly on social media. And that's why I kind of mentioned, maybe utilizing a little bit more of Rampage to get some more of the women on, give them more time, because that's the thing. There's always people saying oh yeah, women can't draw, women can't get over, and this and that. But a big part of that is, you got to give them a fair shot, a fair opportunity. Because if you go back and you think about it, who are some of the people that really got over, with AEW? Britt Baker was definitely one of them. And that's because they gave her an opportunity to really get over. Think about her work that she did with Thunder Rosa. That was phenomenal. So they're given an opportunity. If you're given an opportunity, it works. People get behind it. There's so many times where there's been such great stuff for the women on AEW. And I recall, being on these shows and the women and whatever they did on the show that was really great, being a huge thing that people were talking about. So I just think that they need to be given a legitimate chance, and they need to make sure that whoever is AEW Women's World Champion needs to be featured. And same thing with the TBS champion, Jade. They've been doing a really great job with Jade. She's been racking up those wins. She's had a lot of different types of matches with a lot of different types of people. So that's been really great to see. And so she's obviously, I think she's starting to win a lot of people over, because even myself included, when I first started reviewing Jade's matches, I was like, shit, she's really green, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And she has been working with Bryan Danielson, and you have seen that improvement. Is she already peak in terms of her in-ring work? I don't know, but she is, she has got it a lot better. So I do think that as long as they're given a real opportunity, there's a lot that can be done there, because they have a loaded roster too with really, really talented women. You got Jamie Hayter, you got Britt Baker, you got Thunder Rosa, you got Toni Storm. There's just a lot to be done there. So, and I do think you need to have people that are seen consistently each and every single week, because if you have for example, I don't know, if you have Britt 1 week and then the next 2 weeks we don't see or hear from her, and then come back again, she's just an example, but you want to make sure you have that core group of women that you're seeing each and every single week. I think that would really add a lot to it. But that's just my opinion on that. Thank you so much to Darth Steven 777 for bringing that up. And this is a super chat from Staler 7326, who says, thoughts on Sami KO being the team to dethrone the Usos. Sam story is already there. Bloodline treats Sami poorly, then Sami enlists KO for help. If they were to do something like that, I think it would be interesting. Definitely interesting. I love Sami Zayn, so I'm on board with anything that can boost him up, because I legitimately think he's one of the most entertaining people. And I almost feel like because he can do a lot of the comedy stuff, that he doesn't go above us. They don't have him go above a certain level, but he's a freaking great wrestler. He's entertaining as hell, and he can do the comedy stuff. He can do the serious stuff. He can do whatever you want him to do, and he's great. So I would like to see Sami I would like to see Sami, taken more seriously, even with the comedy stuff. I feel like he could really knock both things out of the park. So I'm all here for Sami getting any sort of reward. All right. And let's see, where are we at now? All right. So we talked about Karrion Kross. We talked about Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns and all of that. We did have a little really quick attack between Kofi and the Viking Raiders. Kofi attacked the Viking Raiders from behind. Viking Raiders ended up getting the best out of him. Really quick there. Let's get into Hit Row, guys, because that's the one thing that is an important thing that we need to talk about for today's show. And let's see. So Hit Row, things really did not work out for them in the sense that, they were on NXT and they got pretty popular. I wasn't a really big fan of Hit Row, guys. I'm not even gonna pretend like I was. You guys know how I felt when you guys were watching those NXT reviews. You guys know, whatever, right? There was things that I liked from Hit Row and there was things that I was just like, nah, this isn't for me, okay? But whatever, that's not the point. The point is that they got called up, they went to the main roster, and unfortunately, things did not go as planned for them. They ended up getting released, which really did suck for them because they had just gotten there. Like, I think it was BFAB, had just signed her contract. I don't even remember the details anymore, but they had just gotten there. And so that freaking sucks. Now, I can't imagine having that type of thing stripped away from you where it's like, I worked on NXT and I finally did it. I'm on the main roster. And then to get that taken away from you, I think it sucks. It really does suck. But anyways, fast forward to now, they are back. And obviously the big missing person is Swerve. Swerve is no longer with WWE. He's the only person, and this says a lot, guys. So make what you will of this. But out of all these people, Swerve was the only one who really, after he was released, he got the ball rolling, was doing indies. He was appearing in all these places. And then bam, he signed to AEW. And, now he's teaming with Keith Lee. Now they're champions and they've had such big moments. If you're out of a job, you're going to go look for another job, right? And we didn't really see, I don't even recall really seeing Top Dollar or Ashanti the Adonis even get very many bookings. I don't even recall seeing, maybe they might have gotten one or two, but I don't recall seeing them on these big shows is what I'm trying to say, these big indie shows. I don't recall seeing any of that for them. So it is telling. It is a little telling in the sense of how are they going to do without Swerve Strickland, because he was the one that not only did he provide, the cool aspect of the group, but he also provided the in-ring ability. He was the person that was the best worker out of them. So I don't know how they're going to do without Swerve, but I do think this is it. This is their chance to finally get there a real opportunity on the main roster. And now it's either sink or swim for Hit Row, because clearly things are different now. You got a big missing piece of the puzzle, but they could probably add somebody. They can add somebody and they can, rework it or whatever they do. So there's options there. What else? All right. So anyway, so they defeat some jobbers. How sad. Brandon Scott and Trevor Irving. The one thing that I do want to bring up, though, that I did like, and I tweeted this out, but I notice now, obviously with the changes with Triple H now running things, we're seeing little things here and there that are changing on SmackDown. We're seeing a lot of things that they're adding, that they're doing differently, that are just making the show a little bit better. Obviously, we're seeing returning acts. On this particular show, we saw a lot more backstage stuff. We saw packages, which I'll talk about later on, which when it actually pertains to the show. And then the other thing that we saw in this match was them orchestrate a telestrator, I believe it's called, and they had Pat McAfee basically drawing, kind of like what you see on the NFL, drawing the little marks around the guys, circling their head, numbering them, and all of this and that. I really like that they added that, and I hope that they implement it. And they don't have to shower the show with it, but I do like the incorporation of that on SmackDown. So I think that could be a cool little thing to do, especially because it goes with Pat McAfee, clearly. So quick squash, and then afterwards, Hit Row gets the win, clearly, and then they end up just reintroducing themselves to the WWE universe. They end up reintroducing themselves. B-Fab looked great. She always has. She has a very, very good look. B-Fab has a phenomenal look. So I'm really excited for her because I think it really did suck the way things worked out for her and for them, you know? So let's see some thoughts here. Nico Latino says that's a huge piece of the puzzle. Yup. All right, we got Jonathan Corona who says, all I'm saying is Triple H is changing the game. The game would change the game. All right, let's see what else we got. Drew Scott says, I'm sure they'll be just fine. Obviously, Triple H sees something in them that says a lot, clearly. Alonzo R says they'll be okay. They have a ton of charisma. And let's see what else we got here. Let's get some more thoughts. This one's from Fernando who says, of all of the teams to bring back, why Hit Row? Swerve was the only talented one in the group. That's from Fernando. And this is from Alonzo, who believes that Top Dollar is a star and is glad that Hit Row is back. And yeah, that's where we're at. So, you know, people are going to have different opinions. That's okay. We got a super chat here from Haseo592 who says, I think it will be the House of Black versus Darby, Sting, and Miro at All Out, where they will also debut CJ Perry. So usually with this, dude, I'm excited to see what they do with the House of Black here. I don't know what they're going to do for the Trios Championship. I have no idea. It really all depends on that. But as I mentioned on the Dynamite show that I did on Wednesday, it feels to me like we really are going to get CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, in WWE. And if we do, I am freaking here for it. We'll see. All right. Thank you so much to Haseo592 for sending in this generous super chat as well. And then this is a comment from Layton who says, Mello already said he's happy for them, but isn't joining up. Yep, he tweeted that out like right afterwards, I think. All right, moving on from this. All right, we got Ronda Rousey, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler segment here. Ronda basically notes that she's not supposed to be there because she got fined and suspended, but that she's got no problem paying that fine. She then dumps out a bunch of cash on the table, and then security makes her like try to leave, and she tries to lock one of the female securities into an armbar. She doesn't. After this, she ends up leaving, and the fans are like, no, whatever. All right. That was actually pretty fun. It was fun. I think people were happy to see Ronda Rousey. So that was definitely good. And as she's walking out, though, Shayna Baszler is walking in and she gets into Ronda's face. And Ronda gets into Shayna's face and she basically tells her, like, you're not the killer that you used to be. And I was like, ooh, savage. I like that. That was good. That was really good. That got me excited, actually. I think that's a tease, guys. That's a pretty damn good tease. I think we're finally going to get the Shayna that people have been wanting to see again. I don't know, but I think so. The contract signing with Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. This was good too. Baszler essentially promised to beat Liv Morgan at Clash at the Castle. She signs the contract. Liv Morgan signs the contract. Liv Morgan has her arm in a sling. She calls Shayna a bootleg Ronda Rousey. Good line for Liv Morgan, and it got a really good reaction as well. And afterwards, after Liv Morgan signs the contract, she gets attacked by Baszler, and she ends up giving Shayna Baszler a bulldog straight through the table. So this is a good segment. I like the tease with Shayna and Ronda. And I am looking forward to seeing what Liv Morgan and Shayna do at Clash at the Castle, because that's the thing that they need to do with Liv Morgan. They need to solidify her as a strong champion. And I don't know, though. I don't know if she's going to walk out as champion at Clash at the Castle. Things change, guys. And I have no idea. Like, I'm not even too sure what's going to happen there. Legitimately, I'm not too sure. Oh, man. And this is from Pomi Wrestling, who says, that contract signing segment did more for Ronda versus Shayna feud than Liv. Yeah. Because even then, like, I was like, oh, this is a tease for that. I'm so excited, this and that. Pomi Wrestling also says, crowd chanting "You tapped out" to Liv really says a lot about how crap the ending of her match at SummerSlam was. And I said that. I remember talking about that on the post show, thinking that because it was, they made Liv more, like, that was my whole point when I talked about that show for SummerSlam. My whole point was they didn't give us a reason to root for Liv Morgan during that. Like, they didn't give us a reason. Like, aside from the fact that we all like Liv Morgan, we all love Liv Morgan, and we're so happy that she's champion, they haven't added to that, you know? They haven't really solidified her as a strong champion. And she, more than anyone, needed something like that. She really needed something like that because her situation, like Liv Morgan, like, she's a different competitor than Bianca Belair. Like, when Bianca Belair, you know, won the championship, it was like, holy shit, like, hell yeah, she's a great freaking wrestler. We all know how athletic she is and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And with Liv Morgan, we all love Liv Morgan and we're so excited for her. But we know that, you know, she's her in-ring skills are, you know, at a little bit of a different level. And that's perfectly fine. But you needed to basically convince and tell the people, like, Liv Morgan can defeat anybody there on SmackDown or whatever. Like, you need to you need to tell the audience, like, yes, she's a true champion to believe in. There's more to the fact, like, you liking her is step one, but here's the part two of her as a champion. And I do think that that's lacking, and they needed to make her look like a strong champion, and they didn't do that at SummerSlam, which was a disservice to Liv Morgan, which really sucks because people are rooting for Liv Morgan to actually have a successful SmackDown Women's Championship run. We got a super chat here from 554K who says, I thought the Ronda stuff was good, but I wonder if the heel turn for Ronda really worked. I mean, people were still cheering her. Ronda's interesting, guys. Like, I feel like, I don't know. It's really interesting stuff with Ronda Rousey because, dude, she's like she's a big freaking star. Like, mainstream wise, she is a big star. And to this point, whether she's a babyface, whether she's a heel, I think she should just be getting larger reactions, period. Like, if she's a babyface, she needs to be like getting these massive reactions. And she's like, when I was there at the crowd for Money in the Bank, she didn't get that reaction. And I feel like she's almost like they've watered her down a little bit. So you really need to use that Ronda Rousey star power that she comes with. They really, really need to utilize that a lot more because she's Ronda freaking Rousey, okay? She's a big freaking star. Utilize that a little bit more. Like, she should have like the same, I don't know, like when we have like Logan Paul coming in, for example, I don't know if this is the best example, but he's a celebrity. He's known, he's huge, he's popular, right? But he's disliked by a lot of people, but a lot of people are starting to turn and they like Logan Paul. But it feels like when he's there, it's like, oh, he's a big celebrity. So you have that like celebrity aura to him. So people react. I almost feel like we don't have that with Ronda Rousey anymore. Like, we used to have that with Ronda Rousey, but we don't have it anymore. And I feel like they needed to keep that like celebrity aspect to Ronda Rousey because it just helps so much. But anyways, that's where we're at with all of that. It didn't help. A lot of the promo stuff didn't help either. A lot of that promo stuff. A lot of people didn't like her promo work, but you know, she's shaping up. Things are turning around. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what people are saying. This is from Mac, who says, I personally wouldn't hate Shayna as champ, but if Liv loses now, that would just be another failed Money in the Bank winner. There's been a trend of Money in the Bank winners losing their titles months after winning. My thing with if Liv Morgan were to lose is that the whole point, or I don't know if it was the whole point, but the whole reason, like the main reason people were so excited when Liv Morgan won the Money in the Bank and then defeated Ronda Rousey and won the title was because we know her backstory. We know that she has been like yearning. She's been working. She's been trying to get to this point in her career. We all saw the Chronicle. We all saw, everything that she's been through, the stuff that they've tried and that's failed and this and that. And we've all seen her go through that and, keep her head up and still show up to work every day and do what she's told and this and that. And so I feel like that's why people were so excited when Liv Morgan got this opportunity. And so now it's just, okay, well, you're there now. Now you just got to prove yourself as champion. But obviously, it helps if they give her good stuff to work with. That SummerSlam finish, not good stuff to work with. So they need to also help Liv Morgan on that end. So anyways, so if she were to lose to Shayna Baszler, it would be like, shit, like she went through all of that. only to like have a not so great reign and then lose to Shayna Baszler. You know, it would feel too premature. They need to solidify her as a champion, not just a like temporary champion. They need to make her into a solid champion, or else it just really sucks. And I don't know if people will really be clamoring for Liv Morgan the way that they were prior to Money in the Bank after this. So I feel like they need to give her something. They need to give her something. Push her. And not push her, but they're pushing her. She's the champion, duh. But no, they need to give her something to really solidify herself as SmackDown Women's Champion and be like, yes, that is my champion. Alrighty. And let's go ahead and move on from here. Let's see what we got. So after this, everybody's favorite, except mine. No, this is it. Okay, guys. Maximum Male Models. Oh, God, bless my cotton socks, because Jesus Christ, they're going to do it, guys. They're going to do this, aren't they? They're going to do this to me. This is punishment. This is punishment to me. They are so going to add Angel Garza and Humberto to the Maximum Male Models. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. You just know it. Oh, my God. They're really going to do them like that. I mean, it's not like... So with Los Lotharios, they had them coming out and they were, sexy with their flowers and kissing the girls. So I guess this isn't like anything too different. It's a little bit more out there, but I guess it's not too different from what they were already doing. And they tend to give Angel Garza a lot of like the sexy type of stuff. Like, remember that whole thing that he had with Charlie? Do you remember the whole thing with Charlie where he would come with the rose in his mouth and they had the stare off and it was steamy and this and that? And then they had they've done a lot of interesting stuff with Angel Garza, and it's all been like the sex appeal type of stuff, right? So anyways, Maximum Male Models, they're doing their photo shoot. Mansoor and Maza, I don't even remember their names. What is their French names? I forget their French names. Whatever. They're out there. They're doing their posing. They're taking their pictures and that and this. Maxine is there. Max is there. And then Angel Garza and Humberto, they come and they ask to be in Maximum Male Models. And Max Dupree's like, no, you don't have what it takes. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Say no to them. Say no to them. But then they're like, we weren't talking to you. We're talking to her. They're talking to Maxine. And Maxine is floored. She's just over the moon. She's like, oh, they're so hot. Latin lovers, this and that. So I think this means we're going to get Angel Garza and Humberto in the Maximum Male Models. And I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. What are you thinking? Let's get some thoughts. Cadillac Carson says maybe Santos will come to the main roster and save Angel and Humberto from MMM. I could only dream of such a scenario. I could only dream of a situation like that. Man, but I don't think so. I don't think so. They're going to add them. And it's going to be all 4 of them doing their Maximum Male Model stuff. Well, 6 of them. They're all going to be doing it. And that's it. It's happening. There's nothing we can do about it. It's too late. Although, I do think that Santos is going to go to the main roster, though. And if you watch my interview with him yesterday, read between the lines, guys. At least I was. Read between the lines. And if you're following up with NXT and the recent storyline there, it kind of feels like he's definitely going to the main roster. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe he will come in and save Angel Garza and Humberto. Maybe. Oh, man. Drew Scott says, I hope the end game is Max Dupree getting kicked out by his sister to then reemerge as LA Knight. Well, apparently everybody loves Max Dupree, so I don't know what to tell you. Tony says, what a freaking cringe fest. Yeah. Thank you, Tyson. He says, didn't he shove a rose up someone's arse? Yeah, it was freaking, oh my God. It was, hold Hold on. Oh my God, I'm blanking. It was freaking, Drew Gulak. Thank you, Drew Gulak. I was like, yes. That was terrible too. I don't even want to talk about that. I'm trying to erase that from my memory. I don't know what that was. I don't even remember how that feud ended. I don't even remember what happened after that. And I talked about it for weeks. Oh my God. Man, that was interesting too. Yep, he kicked a rose straight up Drew Gulak's ass. All right, moving on from this. We got Shinsuke versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title. I really liked that okay, so the Intercontinental title for the last year, maybe 2 years, I don't even know how long anymore, has literally been treated not so great on SmackDown. It really has gone from this prestigious title to nothing. Nada. Nobody even really cares. We rarely ever saw it be defended on a pay-per-view. My last recent memory of the Intercontinental Championship is Shinsuke Nakamura wrestling Baron Corbin 100 times. That was it. That's all I remember from the last period of this title. It's terrible. Very, very terrible. And so they played a video today. They did a video package talking about the Intercontinental Championship and the legacy and the history and this and that. Thank God they did that because we needed a reminder. And I'm very glad that they played this video. It's the little things. Make this title mean something again. Obviously, with Gunther as champion, things are looking a lot better after he defeated Ricochet for the championship. So I'm very happy that he's champion, but whatever. He has a pretty decent match with Shinsuke Nakamura. This was a really good match. This was probably one of my favorite Shinsuke Nakamura's matches in recent SmackDown time. Recently on SmackDown, this is one of the best Shinsuke Nakamura matches that we've seen recently on SmackDown, okay? I liked this. This was a good match. Obviously, we see Gunther hit him with several chops. He gets him with a lariat. He goes for a pin. It's a near fall. There's a moment where we see Shinsuke Nakamura get him with some knee, right to the jaw. And then after this, we see Gunther hit him with a missile drop kick off the top rope to the back of Shinsuke Nakamura, gets him with the power bomb. And after that, gets the win, wins the match. Good for Gunther. Good match. I liked this. That's all I asked for is, for the championship to mean something, for us to get a good match, for us to have a champion we're interested in, a match that we hadn't seen before. I'm happy. This is good. So I liked this main event. It was a perfectly fine main event. And so with that being said, SmackDown is shaping up and I couldn't be more stoked about it because it is 2 hours of my week every single Friday that I'm dedicating, or 3 hours if you count the show, that I'm dedicating to this program. So I'm glad that it's shaping up. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. We got a super chat from Sheldon Jackson. Thank you so much to Sheldon, who says, I love the hype promos for both the IC and US titles and making them seem important again. This match was great, but I don't know how it'll compare to Lashley Styles on Raw on Monday for the US title. This match was perfectly fine, guys. I'm happy at this point. Dude, my bar for my I don't even know what to say. My interest in SmackDown was so incredibly low, guys. And you know this. If you were watching this show, you know this. I had lost all hope with SmackDown. All hope. I didn't know what I was going to do. I legitimately did not know what I was going to do. I needed to find interest in the show again. And now, obviously it's still not the best show of the week or whatever, but there's hope now. There's hope. So I feel a lot better. I'm very happy that I enjoyed this episode of SmackDown and I couldn't be happier. Thank you so much to Sheldon Jackson for sending in that very generous super chat. Alrighty, everybody, there you go. That was Rampage. That was SmackDown, August 12th. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the show each and every single week. Friendly reminder, guys, do not forget to Let me pop this up here really quick. Do not forget to follow me on Twitter at _ Denise Salcedo. I am less than 4,000 followers away from 80K on Twitter. So if you haven't followed me there, go follow me. I post a lot of memes. I post a lot of clips from my interviews. I post all of the links for all of my podcasts that I do across the board. So you guys always know what's up and you can find everything. On top of that, please make sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Check out those interviews that I did with everybody. I think you guys will really enjoy them. I've been getting lots of love for the ones with Valerie, with Roxanne, the Seth Rollins one. There's a lot of good stuff there, so make sure to check that out. Other than that, enjoy your weekend, everybody. I'm going to go watch Impact Wrestling Emergence now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.